So, with the conclusion of PT London, I think it is pretty obvious at this point that Enigma and Zen are on their way out. They're two heroes that have basically defined the metagame since the release of Part the Mistveil, so them leaving is very big, and says a lot for what the future of the meta can hold, because it's going to be a really big shakeup. Because I feel like Enigma particularly was really crucial in defining how decks are built, how you're supposed to play. Her ward strategy really made it so a lot of other defensive decks really couldn't keep up. So what I want to do is I kind of want to release a tier list on my predictions on how the meta post Enigma and Zen is going to play out, because they're not out just yet, but they're at like 990 points, so they're just like basically gone. So why not? Let's talk about this. You jump on the train early. So there's a few heroes I want to talk about before anything else. So Aurora is still a hero that's around. I think she's still strongly in that S tier bracket, right? She's still really good. She's still really consistent. She still has a lot of power to her. She still has like Channeling Valley, and I think that she might even be a little bit stronger with Enigma gone, because Enigma was really good at countering her. But I think that one deck in particular is going to start to rise up, or actually two decks, I should say. I think one deck is going to do really good at countering her, and that's Victor Goldmane. So Guardians have kind of been single-handedly like kept out of the meta by a combination of Enigma and Nu. And I think that Nu isn't really in as strong of a place as she was at the beginning of MST. So I think with Enigma gone, I think now is a really good time for Victor to come out and like just push back against Aurora. He has his clashes, which he's probably going to win every time against Aurora. He has a fridge that you're going to have to punch through as Aurora. He has a deck full of blue cards that he could just pitch into all the arcane you're going to throw at him. There's basically like Victor is really good anti-Aurora strategy. He's got really good disruption with stuff like Spinal Crush, with stuff like Chokeslam that he can just like deal with. Miller's Grindstone too is really, really good. Being able to mill through your opponent's deck and force them to block when they don't want to block. Really, really, really good. However, I also think this might push Nu. I don't even know where she was before. I would have definitely considered her to be A tier, but given her performance at PT London, I think she would be sitting at B. But I would say A. A or like S, like between these two. Mainly because I think Assassins are always good at eating these aggro decks. And she was also another deck kept down by Enigma. So I think it's going to kind of be like a triangle meta between these three. Particularly these two, like Victor trying to eat Aurora and Nu trying to eat Victor and Aurora. But I think that Aurora has the possibility to beat Nu. Nu is I don't know. It's kind of hard to say at this point without the heroes actually being gone. I might actually move Victor down to like A. It might actually just be between these two and Victor coming in to be a bit more like blocky defensive, because Nu also, I don't know, it's hard to say because Nu doesn't have the fridge Victor does, but Nu has the blues that Victor does. Actually, okay, I'm going to put them all at S, because they all have their pros and cons into Aurora, and I think Aurora still has a strong matchup, or like not a strong matchup, but she has the ability to beat both of them. But I don't know, it is difficult to say. I also think Marionette, I would put him probably a solid B. I don't think he's bad, but I think that with Enigma being gone, the meta is going to slow down quite a bit. Enigma was really keeping the meta at a healthy pace. You couldn't just put in 100 D-Reacts and hope for the best. You really had to have an aggro strategy. Now, everyone's going to be playing a lot more defensive. So it's going to be a lot harder for him to get those on-hits. He's going to be able to transform into the Agents of Chaos, but, allowing to be able to be more defensive is going to kind of make it not really, not bad, but I think that, I don't know, honestly, I just feel like Nu is the better assassin between Marionette and Nu. I think Nu is easier to pick up. I think she has a better toolkit, and I think that while the Agent of Chaos is cool, I think that, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I want consistency. I don't want randomness. Right? I don't know. I just think New is the better assassin with Marionette. I love Marionette, don't get me wrong, but I think New is just objectively better, in my humble opinion, whatever that must mean. Fang, I'd put Fang at... This is going to be my bias because I love Fang. I am in love with Fang. I've been playing so much Fang, and I don't feel like I have that many bad matchups except Aurora. So I'm going to put Fang squarely into A tier. I'd also be willing to throw Dio into... yeah, I'd throw Dio into A tier too. I think Dio's been doing pretty well. She might move down to B, depending on how the meta actually shakes up. But I could definitely see Dio being like between A and B. If you are a specialist and you get really, really good with Dio, I could definitely see, actually, I'll drop her down to B. I'll also drop Fang down. I don't know. I feel like they're strong, but they're not like... I wouldn't expect them to see them in top 8s, if that makes sense. Like, the S, I want to be like, this is defining the meta. A, I would also expect to see in top 8s, and then B is like, they're there to challenge things. And you can expect them to do well, but not like top everything. Syndra, I'd put her squarely at A. I think that like she's strong and she has that potential to do very, very well. I think that like it's just a matter of experimenting with different builds for her. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that she's able to go fast. I think that she has similar difficulties. Like she has similar challenges that she presents as Syndra does with stuff like true damage. Syndra with her arcane and CLVs Aurora with the CLV and the arcanes, and Syndra with the flick knives and the masking momentum. So I think that she has, like, I think if I saw a Syndra in top 8, I wouldn't be too surprised. I think that, like, she's basically a slightly less consistent Aurora, and with, again, Enigma going, and I think she has that potential to get up there with the right build. Yeah. Jarl's hard. I do think he has some tools to deal with Aurora. I do think Enigma pushed him down quite a bit, but he's so hard to say. I'd put him in B. I can definitely see him being a pain for a lot of Auroras. He has stuff like Blizzard. He has stuff like Hypothermia. He has Felling. He has Plouse. He has really good mid-range. But his overall card pool just sucks. The focus on Mangle, the focus on popping equipment, Frozen to Death, I don't like it. Exposure to the Elements, I don't like it. What's the one card that like puts a -1 counter? I forgot it. I don't like Guardian Aura strategies. I think that they're bad. I think they're pretty fundamentally garbage. I think they're slow, and giving your opponent essentially an extra turn to just set up an aura that you might or might not even be able to make use of. Because like you set up the one aura that gives your next thing Dominate and I think -1, and then you pass. Or even worse, let's say Frozen to Death, because you need Frozen to Death, you need to pitch 2 cards, and you need an Ice card to fuse. You play Frozen to Death, you fuse. You destroy a piece of equipment. Okay, great. Now you have 1 card in your hand. You might not even want to arsenal it, depending on what it is, but you arsenal it. And you now use 3 cards to destroy 1 piece of equipment, and they have a 4/5 card hand. And have to deal with 2 Frostbites, which, okay, I mean, I guess is bad, but is that really worth, like, taking a bunch of damage? I don't know. I think Jarl has the potential. Again, he has the tools, he has the to keep the faster decks in check, but I think that if you want to play a deck to slow down Aurora, to slow down Syndra, play Victor. Honestly, play Victor. He's got Visit the Goldmane Estate, he's got his Clashes, he's got Millers, he's got the ability to fix his Clashes, which is really good. Play Victor. Ira? Ooh, this is difficult. I think Ira's a good hero. But I think Syndra... I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to put her in A. Only for the fact that I think she has some really good tools in the Hunted. And again, I think that mid-range decks like Ira have kind of been held back. And I think that now, being with Enigma gone, she can really utilize some of those mid-range tools. The +1. CNC for 7, still a real thing to do. Erase Face is still a real thing to do. Um, and also like buffing your dagger buffing strategy. I think she has the tools to push aggressive damage. She still has, awkward to block turns overall, which, Enigma, or not Enigma, Aurora doesn't really want to deal with. I don't, like, she doesn't want to block, obviously, most of the time. Yeah, no, I think that Ira has the potential with the tools. It's really hard to say, but I think that the potential is there. Florian, A. He's a Rune Blade. He's got Phalanx. He's got Plows. He can play slow. He wants to play long game. He wants to play grinder game. He's got a lot of blues. He's got a fridge. Everything Aurora doesn't like. She doesn't like fridge. She doesn't like decks that can block a lot. She doesn't like decks that can pitch a lot. Florian does all that. Florian plays long game. Florian plays it really, really, really well. I actually put him above Jarl simply because I think he utilizes the Phalanx and Plows better than Jarl does. Like, Jarl, sure. Okay, Jarl can decompose. Great. Florian's like, okay, I'm going to decompose. Then I'm going to make more rune chants. Yay. Like, I'm actually, like, doing stuff, which is really good. I honestly think that Florian is going to do really, really well. Again, the meta slowing down. It's going to do well. Being able to push in late game 1-card 5s constantly is really big, really good. And again, just having access to those big cards, being able to create a bunch of rune chants and just swing them in is really good. Askelio, I put him at C. I don't think he's weak or anything. I just think, like, I don't know. I haven't played a lot of Askelio. I have some people at my LGSs who played some Askelio here and there. I don't know. He feels like he has the potential to pop off, but he just sometimes doesn't work. It just doesn't happen sometimes, and it's like, well, damn. It's like the wizard thing. Like, wizards are great, but then when they don't do their thing, it's like, well, ooh, poo. Similar thing with Verdance. I'd actually put her in B, low B. Like mid to like B range. I'll just say B. I'm not putting these in any specific order as now. Verdance, I think she has being able to play long game. She can play mid range. She can set up her big combo, which is really, really good. I also think the healing element is a really big aspect of it. Having those healing potions and being able to just pop them all quickly and then heal a bunch of damage, deal a bunch of arcane damage. Fantastic. Especially late game, especially when your opponent's been trying to push damage. The only thing that Florian has above her is Florian has a much better fridge. She runs like Stormstriders. She runs like Plume. She has the bear skin on the Millennium Tree, and not really many good arm pieces, while Florian has Grasp of the Arcanite, which I think really sets her apart, or really sets Florian apart from Verdance. But I think Verdance still has the good long game, the good end game strategy that can really, do the good thing. The thing happens, you do it. It's great. Teklo, Betsy, Olympia, these are all bad. I mentioned, Teklo's not good. He dies to Jarl. Any deck that auto loses to Jarl is like, what are you going to do? Betsy is just Bravo, but worse. And speaking of Bravo, yeah, I'm sorry. I love Bravo, but I have something planned, a whole video planned on talking about him, because I love Bravo, but he's poo. He's not in a good position. Again, play Victor. If you're gonna play Guardian, don't play these two. Play Victor. They just have better abilities. And Olympia, he just doesn't do anything. Like, Wager's a bad mechanic. Ooh, I got an extra gold. For what? Drawing more cards I don't want? Come on. Like, at the very least, Dory is like, oh, I can swing my thing again. Okay, cool. Huh. Olympia's like, I'm gonna give my opponent more value from blocking. Great. Kasai. I love Kasai. Actually, I'm sorry. I love Kasai. She's my favorite hero, but she's not good. The go again strategy is just blood in her hands and raising army is just not, like, it's good, but it's not the damage needed to compete with other decks. And in a meta with aggro heroes where you're trying to slow them down, going sword pass is not nearly as good as going like chokeslam, as going CNC, as going spinal crush. That's what you need to really counter the meta. Not swing pass. I'm sorry, Kasai, I love you, but KO, I could see him doing things. I wouldn't be surprised if someone brought KO. Definitely not a bad hero. Or, like, he's not good. How do I say this? He can do numbers. He does the numbers thing. He doesn't block all that well, which really doesn't matter all that much. Well, actually, it does matter a little bit with Aurora. I don't know. It would depend on the build. It would really depend on how you build it. I could see KO in some contexts. Like, I wouldn't expect to see it in the top 8, but if I was looking at like the standings, like the list, and I saw like 5-6 KOs, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna put Max and Passion picks in, for now, only because Armory deck hasn't come out yet. It's coming out soon, and I don't think people have had the time to test with it, and even my testing is very limited, so I don't know. Going by my gut instinct, I would put him in B. I put him in B. But that's just my gut feeling about the deck. That's that testing. If I want to be realistic, like not just how I personally feel, C. Actually, I'll even C. Again, Armory deck is giving him tools. I think it can make him a pretty decent deck. Again, if I saw like a couple maxes, saw even some do well. No, I wouldn't expect top 8, but like I could see them, doing stuff. Oh, there we go. Okay, fix it. I guess, I don't know. Next is Prism. Ooh, this is hard. Because Prism did really well at PT London. I'm gonna put her at S. I think Prism did really well at PT London. I think with Enigma being gone, the Illusionist needs another, board hero. Being able to set up Spectra auras, being able to swing big heralds, it's really, really good. Actually, no, I'm dropping her to A. High A. A and between A and S. That's where I'd put her. I think she can do the thing. She's good at making a board. Setting up those wards, setting up those angels is very difficult, and when she starts going, she's very, very, very hard to stop. Which can be difficult for decks like Aurora. If you're just pushing big heralds, big angels, and go, and you have these spectral shields, and now you have to not only ping her, but you also have to ping through the ward, and I could see Prism doing pretty well. Bolton is poo. Also Leviah, Huntsman, Dash Aish just doesn't have anything. Katsu, I think if they unbanned Bonds of Ancestry now that Zen is gone, I could see him being a solid C. But actually, no, he'd still be a passion pick. I wouldn't put him in C. No, even with Bonds, he's bad. The reliance on Surging Strike is just the biggest thing. You rely on Surging Strike, your attacks have to hit, and if they don't hit, you're basically screwed. That's why Zen was so powerful. Zen's like, oh, I don't care about hitting, just pitch. Search anything I want, fantastic. Zen really showed how bad Katsu was. I'm sorry. Like, he really showed how awful Katsu was. Without having to hit. Vincent. Ooh, okay. I don't know. I'm gonna also go put an A. Actually, it's so hard. I'm gonna put her in B. I think she has, the disruptive ability is really good. She has the Fridge of Armor, which is really good. She has like Face Purgatory. She has all the Rune Blade stuff, which is really, really, really nice. She has a bunch of Rune Gate stuff that can really push a lot of disruptive damage and a lot of stuff to really screw over the opponent. But there's just some games I watch where if they're defensive enough, like Victor or New, and they're able to just pitch into all your Rune chance, if they're able to block you out effectively, you kind of hit the point where you're just like, what do I do? I think that's Finset's biggest weakness is if you're able to play defensive, you kind of just die. Which makes her good into decks like Aurora and Syndra and Prism even. But if you go against a Victor or a new and they know what they're doing and they're like, okay, I'm just going to block you out. Nope. You're not. So I think if she has the potential, but if my theory about this triangle meta is right, she's no. She's not gonna do well. Riptide, C. Actually, yeah, solid C. He's got game into Aurora. He's got game into New. Even Syndra and Ira to a big degree, he's got game. But the problem is, one, he's terrible in a Victor. He's terrible in Florian. He's terrible in Teddy deck that wants to fatigue. And given that, again, with the meta's probably going to slow down with Enigma being gone, Riptide is not really good. And also, Riptide is a hero. Again, I really like Riptide. I like Riptide. I'm a Riptide fan. But fundamentally, he's a hero where, like, once you know how to counter him, once you know what he's trying to do, he's just, like, he's just easy to counter. Biggest example is like if you're playing a Dory, like you're playing Dawnblade Dory, and you see a Riptide, all you do, block out his arrows, swing Dawnblade pass. Block out the arrows, swing Dawnblade pass. And you've essentially made a good chunk of their deck crack baubles. It's like, what do you do? What was the goal there? What was the plan there? You made a good chunk of their deck crack baubles and yeah. Azuri. B. I think she's solid B. I think any assassin is good in this meta. Actually, any assassin is good in a meta where there's a lot of aggro decks, where an aggro deck is supreme. Assassin is always going to have a place. Except for Acne Husband, they suck. But Azuri, I think that she's good, but I think New is just fundamentally more powerful, and Marionette's also pretty fundamentally more powerful. Oh, there's a Slippy on here. Ah, that sucks. Slippy, A. I'm just gonna verbally say that A. Slippy, I think with his go again assassins always have a place in a meta where aggro decks are dominant. So if Aurora, Syndra, and Prism start running around, assassins are gonna come in and keep them in check. Slippy, I think, is really good, especially late game with the stealth go again, being able to attack. No matter how they block, if they overblock, if they overcommit, you just throw another stealth attack and put the reactions on that one. Whatever. Being able to go wider, being able to present multiple on it, being able to just do all kinds of things is just... You can't deny the value of that. It's just too good. Phi. Oh, my Sam Dandos might be for this. B. Phi, I think, has that potential to go very big. But it's again, going through the theory that the meta is going to slow down and people are going to be able to play a lot more defensively. Being explosive is great. But, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Syndra is just a more consistent ninja in terms of being able to flick, carry the mask trigger, constantly threaten the mask, especially if you're playing a build with more like 4 power attacks. She's just a little bit more consistent than Phi. Phi has like really explosive turns with like Salt of Wounds, with like Coals, with Mask, the Pouncing Links. Like, he can be explosive, but it's like once you get past that explosive, once you're like, okay, I've blocked you effectively, I've done what I need to, he becomes easier to kind of deal with it in my personal experiences with Phi. Like, he's strong, but then once you get past the explosive, once you get past the power, once you get past the peak, you kind of just block effectively and you're chilling. You block him. You learn how to block him. You learn how to play defensively through the explosive. It becomes easier to deal with. Again, not every deck can do this, but I think he just has that weak point of Syndra's consistently got the power of Mask and Momentum, and Phi just has like a couple explosive turns, which good, but Aelia. I don't think there is any meta where Aelia is going to be any less than A tier. I'll say it, and I think it's just because she can do the thing, and she can do the thing well. She has Random Ledger, she has Remorseless, she has Judger and Executioner, she has so much at her disposal. Even if you want to play Sandscour, as much as I think Sandscour is absolute dog shite, she can do the thing. Aelia is a hero where, like, every meta, you kind of have to worry about her. You have to always have her at the back of your mind. Do I expect her to top 8 every event? No. Do I think that if you're trying to do well, you need to think about Aelia? Yes. Also, the fact that people are running Warmongers less and less and less and less now that Viscerai is gone, Aelia is, like, getting there. The only problem with Aelia is her deck is very much, it works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, you cry. Because there are games where your hands are not going to line up. Your arrows are not going to line up. You're not going to get the arrow you want. You're not going to get the pumps you want. You're going to get hands of all arrows. Your variance is just going to kick your goddamn ass in. And there's nothing you can do. Like, it's unfortunate to say, but there's going to be games where there's just not much you can do, and it's very upsetting and frustrating. But she does also have access to Codex. She does have access to some really powerful arrows. Again, Red in the Ledger is probably, and I'll say it, undoubtedly, the best arrow in the game. I don't think there's ever going to be an arrow stronger than Red in the Ledger. I don't. Plus, you also have Hamstring Shot and other disruptive arrows. Drill Shot to punch through Aurora's armor and also Victor's armor. You also have cards like Bolt and Shot to go wider for decks like Victor. I also think she has a really good new matchup. I played the new matchup as Aelia. It's easy. You say no blocks and you hit them harder. That's how you beat new. Masterclass. How to beat Assassin as Aelia. Honestly, you say no blocks, because if she's throwing bonds, for example, like let's say she's throwing bonds, if you commit even one card to defense and the bonds goes through, well, now you're IP2. And they throw bonds and you commit no cards to defense, you're like no blocks, and they hit. You still have a 3-4 card hand to swing back at them with. You can still throw them with, hit them with a Red Ledger. You can hit them with a Remorseless. You can hit them with a Battering Bolt or whatever you have available to push back damage. And that's kind of, that's how you beat Assassin in general. You say, give me the on hits, I'm sending you back more. Give me the on hits, I'm sending you back more. Reiner. Passion picks. I know there's some hype around Rhinar given, who's the one guy who did really well with Rhinar? Or had, like, the crazy double Blood Rush turn. I think Rhinar is just fundamentally underpowered in CC. He's fundamentally weak. And it's just because Intimidate as a keyword sucks, because you can't get consistent value out of it. For example, like, if I'm playing as Rhinar, and I Intimidate a card out of your hand, if I Intimidate Sink Below, I've gotten 4 value. Great. If I Intimidate Teclo Pounder, I've gotten 0 value. And where Fab is a game about very thin margins in terms of how much value you're getting, having a deck that's all about random amounts of value, I cannot see it being a consistent, viable strategy in the game. I just cannot. I can't. If there was some way to consistently get good value out of Intimidate, some way of either being able to look at your opponent's hand, or saying that your opponent must pick a card with block 3, or something like that, so the value is actually consistent. Until then, I think that he's fun. He's cool. Intimidate's cool. And Scowling Fleshbag is an incredibly powerful piece. But until Intimidate actually becomes good, he's going to stay a passion pick. And you're just going to... You don't want your whole competitive career to rest on, can I roll enough good dice? Right. Kano. I hate Kano. I think Kano's cringe. The up software update. Thanks, Windows. Kano, I would put him firmly in C. I think he can do the thing. I think Open the Floodgates is a incredibly broken card, potentially. Being able to draw more cards and push arcane damage to get you to your combo, to get you closer to Blazing Aether. Man, that's just, this is really good. But then you got games where you're like, I'm seeing no cards. I'm not getting my combo. I'm not getting anything. And I am already at basically almost dead in terms of health. So it's like, what do I do? He can do the thing. But when he doesn't do the thing, it's really sad. And again, I think Aurora can also very much target Kano. So until she gets to a point where she's knocked down to A or B tier, I don't think Kano's leading this game. I genuinely don't. As well as like Syndra can also probably race him, but I don't know. She's Draconic, so she doesn't really have many ways of APing. I don't know. I think it is very much a game of chance with any Draconic hero versus Kano. It's who gets her thing first. Last is Dorinthia Iron Song. I'm going to put her right next to Fang. I think Dory is able. Like, she has a wide toolbox she can use. She's got the classic non-blade strategy, which even during the Enigma days was really, really good. Or like when Enigma was, while Enigma is legal. I'm talking like this is past. God damn it, my sense of time is screwed. But even with Enigma was strong, was good. But she also has hatchets. She has Decimator, which, okay, I'm gonna say this. I want to make a longer video about this, but guys, you know Decimator's more than 50 D reacts, right? Like, you have Spill Blood, you have Felling Swing, you have Dory's ability. Create an agility token, swing with Decimator, have it hit. Dorinthia Iron Song ability, swing again, pitch another blue. It's 2 card 8, 2 blues, 2 card 8. It's above rate. Plus the value you're getting from your opponent not blocking, or from your opponent blocking. Spill Blood, really good. Dominate, +2 and Dominate on both of them. With Dorinthia, you can swing twice. Fantastic. Like, you guys have things you can do with the Decimator Dory, or with Decimator Great Axe. You don't gotta put 50D reacts in Fang and hope for the best. Like, there's cards there. There's stuff you can do there. But I think she has such a big toolbox of stuff she can do that it'd be kind of bad to put her any lower than B, in my opinion. I think just her toolbox puts her at the very firm B. So, that is my pre-Enigma prediction, or pre-Enigma Zen banning prediction. They are so close to being gone that I figured it's a good time. But this is what I predict is going to happen. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? This isn't... I also want to clarify within the ranks. I didn't order them specifically within the ranks. It's just kind of generally where they are. I feel like, obviously... I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do the specifics. I'd probably put Dio down here. Vincent I'd probably put lower. Fi I'd probably put higher. I don't know. It would take me a while, but I'm not going to go within them because I don't have the time. I just don't want to. But yeah, no, what do you guys think? Do you guys have any other predictions for the meta? Do you guys agree with my triangle meta theory here? I mean, there's going to be another hero that can take up the mantle with Aurora. Yeah, no, let me know down below. Thank you very much. Bye.